adventure starts now. Well, ish. We're nearly there. I'm just packing the car, as you can see behind me. That's my pack. Believe it or not, it's only got enough stuff in it for an overnight. Well, technically what I've got with me I could camp for much longer than that. It's just food that denotes how long I'll be out. And that's basically enough for an overnight. What I'll do once I get set up in the forest, I will show you what I've brought with me. I'm not really doing any kind of reviews on the stuff. I've already shown you the things in other videos, what I'm taking and some of my equipment and things like that, techniques, but I might cover a little bit more when I get out there. But yeah, I've been planning for this trip for a long time. The trip was originally going to be in August. It is June 6th today, so it was going to be in August. That was the earliest I thought I was going to be able to do it. But we changed some plans. I was going to go down to Norfolk to look at a motorbike. Decided that it wasn't worth the expense, you know, the motorbike or the trip. So yeah, I brought the trip forwards by several months. My only concern with that is my physical condition, my physical fitness. My knowledge, my equipment, everything I am prepared for. The only thing that isn't prepared is possibly my physical condition. I'm not as fit as I could be or should be to carry and pack that weight for the distance that I'm planning. I might find it easy, I don't know. That's the thing, that's why I'm taking it easy. It's just after 9:30, it's 20 to 10 in the morning. We're heading out to the forest now. We've got an hour's drive from here. My wife's just over here out of shot. But she's going to drive me up there, and then tomorrow afternoon she'll come and meet me, hopefully at the end of the trail. I might even still be waiting for her, don't know, let's see how it goes. And we're going to camp with Imi overnight on the shore of a loch at the end of the trail I'm doing. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's the first time I've tried to do any kind of overnight stay in this fashion. Whenever I've been out in the woods back in Kent, I drove to the woodland or I rode a motorbike right up to the campsite. It was all stationary. There was no travelling at all with my equipment other than riding to the woodland and staying at a fixed campsite that had a lot of equipment there ready and waiting. Here I'm having to take all the equipment with me. So a lot of this is also going to be proving as to whether or not I need the equipment and what equipment I have. I've pared it down a lot, but there are still things that you do require. So yeah, I'll go over that more when I get there and show you what I've got. And yeah, I might find other ways of doing things. Just change what I do, how I do it. That's what people that do this kind of thing do. Lou's chuckling away here. Right, so I'll be doing all my vlogging on this trip with the GoPro. I've got it attached to my backpack. I've got a selfie stick and a wrist strap so that I can show you what I'm doing, etc. So I ordered some lights to try and make it possible to film after dark. I have got a small GoPro style light for the GoPro, but I did order some other lights as well. They arrived in the country from China today. They haven't been delivered yet. Because when I ordered them, I didn't think the time frame was an issue because I thought I was going in August. Yeah, it's frustrating, but Lou might actually have them with her when she comes up, so they're quite fancy, they're quite funky, they should work. Anyway, we better get on the road. I shall see you in the forest.
So here we are, start of the Raiders Road. This is where the traffic stops. There shouldn't be too much going down here. There might be a couple of cars, but I think Ben's going to enjoy this. Sorry if I'm not quite pointing in the right direction. The sun's so bright I can't even see the screen of the camera. So that's what most of this is going to be recorded on. Little thing.
GoPro. With the selfie stick. Selfie stick. Got off the internet for like a tenner. It does the job because it's only holding a small camera. But it's got a little tripod thingy on the bottom, which will be quite handy for filming and stuff later. Plus I've got a couple of other different style mounts and things with me, so I'll be able to sort it all out. It's better than taking that camera, which costs like 400, 500 pounds, and taking a £100 camera instead that's actually designed for this environment. Makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? Right, let's pick up the heavy weights, shall we? Just use the pocket just to put this in for a moment. I've got 1 or 2 pockets.
What, in those new trousers that you bought yesterday?
Yeah, well I was going to tell everybody about the gear later, but there's no, I'm not going to do like a gear review or anything on the trousers. There's plenty of other people on the internet that have done that. There's no need for me to do it as well. Essential for me anyway. I can't put it in there. I should have put it in there before I put that back on. Tell you what, I'll put it in a new holster I made the other day.
Yeah.
There you go, you see. Right.
You ready?
Ah, there it is. I'll be able to get to that, you see. Took me a little while to figure out how this works, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was broken. I couldn't figure it out. I actually had to cut that little slit in the end to start off with. And I was going, I actually couldn't suck anything through it.
Yeah.
Turns out, it's got a little valve that you open there.
Oh.
And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh.
It works now.
Okay. But the good thing is it means that if it's hanging down like that, it doesn't drain out.
It's got a covering on it as well, so that's
cover
good.
on it as well, yeah. So
Because my last one didn't.
yeah, I know yours didn't. And it, well, had to be passed without the covers on it, and it just makes the mouthpiece messy.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'll be off then. Can I give my wife a hug?
Yay.
Yeah.
Big hug. Really enjoy yourself, my love.
Thank you, I will. And I'll see you at the end tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once Simmy's been to playgroup and we've sorted ourselves out, we'll make our way up.
Yeah, with any luck I might actually be waiting for you.
It'll be good.
Yeah. It's not as if it's the only difficult part of the terrain is up and down. Right, so love you lots.
Love you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye. Only kidding. Bye bye. Filming me, I'm filming her. So yeah, this is me on the trail. Literally just left Lou a few minutes back up the road. I'm finally doing this. Planning it for ages, like I said. But can you hear this? Sound of the river running. Birds singing. That's about it. So I've said to Lou, this is the route I'm using, I'm sticking to it. So it's a predefined route that she's aware of. We have driven along it before, we know that our vehicle is perfectly capable of driving along it. The only time that I am to leave the trail
is to find a campsite or water or something like that. Then I'll return to the trail and carry on the journey. I'm going to resist the temptation to not follow little paths, things like that. I can see one along here which obviously takes you along the edge of this river that's just down here. This river's coming out of the Clattering Shores Dam. It might be a bit more scenic, might be a little bit safer because I'm not actually on the road with cars. This can be quite popular with cars, days out and stuff like that. It is beautiful up here, look at this. Yeah, there's that little footpath I was on about just down there. But much of this journey is following that river. And the idea is that obviously I'll be able to get water whenever I need it, kind of thing. I will try and source it from springs if I can that are coming out of the sides of the hills. It will technically be a bit cleaner, a bit fresher. There's very little agriculture up here. There are no sheep or grazing cattle or anything like that to pollute the water. The only industry is logging. So as long as I get the water from somewhere that hasn't been logged recently, I should be alright. Not that it really matters, but that river down there, I've got like a water filter. Filters out 0.01 micron. Anything that's above 0.01 of a micron is filtered from it, from the water. So that means protozoa, particulates, stuff like that. And that's why you still have to be a little bit careful about where you source your water from, because that means that viruses and things like that aren't filtered out. Chemicals aren't necessarily filtered out unless they are attached to particulates. So still has to be a little careful, but up here I don't think I've got anything to worry about. If I'm really suspicious, I can boil the heck out of it, and I've got water purification tablets with me. I've got it covered. I'm sticking to a known route. My wife knows where I'm going, knows when I should be somewhere. And I'm using my phone to broadcast my GPS position. She'll be able to find out where I am. Oh, cars. See what I mean? Don't know if you can hear that or not. It's about the only thing that is spoiling things at the moment for me. But I know why it's being done. It has to be done. But that is the sound of heavy machinery. They're obviously felling trees a bit further up this slope. I can see marks in the soil here. I can see where it was offloaded back there as well. Obviously a logging machine has gone up the side of this hill here. You can see the tracks. You can see the marks on the trackway. You can see where it's gone up the hill, around the side of those trees. And it's up there somewhere, logging. But it's all essential management of the forest. They get hundreds of thousands of tons of wood out of here every year. Probably got that figure a little bit wrong, but it is a major industry for this woodland, and it's the way they manage it. And it's obviously all replanted. You can see that, you can see the trees they've planted in places. I think I'm starting to settle into the weight of the backpack. It's not light. I'll be able to get rid of a couple of kilos of water. And this is what I was on about. Streams like this are everywhere coming out of the soil. Doesn't look particularly great, does it? There's a lot of peat in the soil, and obviously it's pine forest, so that tends to affect the colour of the water too. But it's the point that I was making. There's water everywhere. Even after this particularly dry spell. There were some thunderstorms up here the other night as well, so I wasn't worried about finding water. And if I need to, I can boil it as well. It is a bit on the warm side though. A little bit warmer than I'd hoped. I I've got factor 50 everywhere because, you know, obviously I'm a redhead. I'll singe. In fact, I'm surprised there isn't smoke coming off of me now. Oh, there's a logging machine over there right now, actually. Yeah, I definitely want to get a bit further down the road. What is it, 25 past 11. I'll get a bit further down the road, get away from the logging activities. So you can see this logging here. Obviously been logging through here quite a bit actually. But you see how many boulders are sticking up out of the ground too. These trees are very shallow rooted.
I've just got back from dropping Ben off at the woods, and guess what? The lights have arrived. So I will have to bring them with me tomorrow when we go and get him.
So I've brought with me this little clip here. I've clipped it to the sternum strap of my bag. I'm just going to put the camera on here and you can see what I see, kind of thing. Ish. At least I'll have both my hands free. So yeah, what do you think of that then? Let's see what this footage looks like. Hopefully the beard doesn't get in the way, but I'm also hoping you can hear me quite easily. So if the wind does get up later or anything like that, you should better hear me. There's one single tree. So what's over the ridge then? Yep, another ridge. Just goes to show, I mean, a couple of months back, this area here was a raging stream, a raging torrent coming through here from snow melt and rain and stuff like that. And there was a very healthy stream coming up the side here, up the side of the track, and that's all gone now. As I said, down there in that little helix, whatever it's supposed to be down there, that was full of water too. Well, had quite a bit of standing water. Let's see if we can get a better view from here. It's like some sort of... Yeah, here you go. This is better. Beautiful, isn't it? Keep saying that. But it is. I mean, how can you not think this looks nice? We've definitely still got bluebells here in Scotland. I can't believe that. Seriously, I mean, bluebells. So I've reached a place called Lagan O'Dea. No idea what that actually means. I believe the River Dee is possibly that one down there. I'll check on the map in a minute, so it could mean something along the lines of Farm of Dee or something like that. But that means I'm two miles down the track. You can pay on display here. I don't know what that means. It's out of order anyway. So we can see if there's any further information, but it might be that you pay here to park further down the road. Or anywhere down the road in the forest, potentially. Have to look into that. As I say, the meter's broken. But this is the place we saw back in April. It was covered in snow. It's quite high meadows up here. It's a beautiful piece of scenery. But that also means that I've covered 2 miles already. I've only been walking for about 90 minutes. So I'm a quarter of the way already. So I don't want to eat up too many miles. I set myself a limit today of 4. Because I don't want to push myself through to the end. I'll just be sitting there twiddling my thumbs waiting for Lou to turn up. She ain't going to get here until mid-afternoon tomorrow. This is something we've noticed about Scotland. There are just so many wildflowers up here. and they are around much later in the year. Now I can see the Willow Bay herb coming through, also known as fireweed, a big tall one with pink leaves. That's this one here. You can actually make quite a nice tea out of it, but you've got to ferment it properly and everything. Very popular in Russia, sorry, not in Russian. Very popular in Russia. They call it Ivan chai, which basically means John's tea, or anybody's tea, because you can get it from the wild. It does taste nice, I have tried it, but it's quite a lengthy process. There's also, you can see some sort of meadow buttercup, I don't know what that one is, I can't identify it. There's bluebell in here as well, and some nettle. Not much, but nettle. And the inevitable bracken. All in the shade of this field maple. So, really thinking about it, if I am a quarter of the way there already, I'll start keeping my eyes open for a suitable camping place. That makes sense, wouldn't it? Coming up for midday, maybe I'll just stop and eat lunch. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it's a bit of a climb, this one. There's probably nothing compared to what we've got coming up. I'm thinking, because I know we've driven along this route, thinking I'm doing this in the right direction, and that I'm heading downhill more than I am uphill. I really want to get, if I'm going to camp, I want to get somewhere back into the woods a little bit away from the road, outside of the road. Burrow my way into the woodland a bit and find a campsite. Wouldn't mind going down by the river a bit more. That would make more sense, really. Hopefully the mosquitoes aren't too bad. You see, let's show you case in point here. Can't get up too high, or else we'll be going down again. You see, that's the top. It's pretty much the highest point around, and the tree line is below the top of it. Okay, so that might be managed tree line, and the vehicles don't operate above there, because there are trees right at the very top. But I need trees for cover, wood, building my shelter. So I just need to get back in far enough. Shouldn't be too bad of water to harvest that either, because I needed it. Speaking of which, keep myself hydrated. I found there's a trick to this little valve that I've discovered is on here. If it isn't open fully, you get about 40% air, 60% water. And you're just kind of thinking, why am I getting a mouthful of air and nothing else? Yeah, it's starting to feel quite dried up, so I will stop possibly very soon, eat some lunch, chug some water. Is Mike picking that up? Could be a military jet. There's another one. The heat is starting to, it's not too much, it's not too hot, about 20 odd degrees here, but as you can see, being fair skinned, it's through factor 50. Don't think it really matters too much if I roll my sleeves down or not. I'm just seriously trying to get water on board, realising that I'm drying up a little bit. we know from experience, and we've been up here quite late trying to look at the dark skies and stuff ourselves, and we know from experience that people are still moving around 10, 11 o'clock at night, driving cars through here, obviously doing the same thing, looking for a nice vantage point to look at the dark sky, because it is a dark sky park. Oh, nice breeze. I'm seeing nice clearings and stuff on the other side of the river. The river's just over there somewhere. I'm seeing nice places I can camp over there. But obviously that's from the perspective of being on the opposite side of the valley. You can see it easier. I could have just walked past somewhere here and never know. Anyway, this is all very, very different to what I'm used to in the woodland down in Kent. You see the perspective from the road here. I can't really see very clearly up there. I might investigate this a bit more. The only thing is there's water nearby. That's the biggest thing. There's normally a ditch along here that's full of water. It's just a bare trickle now. There was water further back. It's my bare investigation. The road is literally about 20 metres way down there. I've just come up the side of it a bit. I don't think I'd want to camp here. There's a couple of reasons why. Firstly, I'm not very close to a water source as such. It wouldn't be too much hassle to walk up there and fill up my containers and come back. But it's incredibly uneven ground. It's been logged at some point recently, and there's a lot of very dry wood on the floor. But also, can you see all this grass behind me, all this brown stuff? This is all very dry and crunchy underfoot. One spark from my fire could start quite a blaze, so I'm concerned about lighting a fire here. I have a little gas stove with me, which I can use. I do have an alternative source. The food that I've brought with me can all be eaten cold. It would be nice to have a fire, but it's not 100% necessary, unless I can find some way of doing it safely. I quickly checked my map, and this road is dropping down to the river, and there is, if I remember rightly, there's like a picnic area kind of thing further down. People have lit a lot of fires down there and stuff like that. I might just carry on walking down there. I've got 5.86 miles apparently left to go of my 8-mile journey. So you can see I've done a little over 2 miles. About 2, not even quite 2.25 yet really, is it? So I'll keep going a bit further. Potentially stop down there or near there. Somewhere where hopefully it isn't quite so dodgy to have a fire. If need be, I can be quite close to the water. It's very fast moving over rapids. Midges be less, and there are rocks basically I can light my fire on. Slinging the hammock might be a challenge. I'm not geared for sleeping on the floor, you see. I was hoping to be up on a hillside somewhere, well out of the way. So we'll see what happens. Very uneven ground here. That's the thing, I don't want to move around at night and twist my ankle or something in the dark. I have decided it's lunchtime. I've got some bars out of my bag. Some good old carbohydrates. Just checked my water supply, and I've drunk nearly half of it. I've drunk nearly a litre out of my 2 litre pack. So maybe when I get down to the river, yeah, I'm about halfway through my water supply. So maybe when I get to the river, I should be replenishing that. This really weighs nothing. It cost me £1.99. There we go. I've got a seat. Ta-da! the only problem with the GoPro. I've got absolutely no idea if I'm actually in shot or not. Nice little view here. I'll show you it to you in a minute. I've had to put the buff, sometimes referred to as the fashion mistake, on the head. I'm sweating, and the sun cream that I've put on my face is running down into my eyes. My eyes are stinging and I can't see where I'm going, so I thought, right, stop, cool off, put the buff on, soak up the sweat a little bit, and then carry on. Eat something. I was really surprised, the seating pad really works.
There's even more snow than before.
There is, isn't there? This is crazy, right? Look at this. Wow. Snow. Look, just to prove it. Cold enough to make a snowball that I can throw at the car. So I've made it down to the river. It's the River Dee. Yes, checked the map, it is the River Dee. It's quite shallow and quite pleasant looking at the moment. It was a lot deeper back in April when we were here. So there's just down the road there's a little parking place and some information and stuff like that. I'm hoping if there is anything that says, you know, don't set fire to something, it'll be down there. There's two junctions here. I wonder where this leads to. There's nothing here saying don't enter, like no entry or anything. Vehicles have gone along it. I just saw a Forestry Commission vehicle come along here. A couple of people in it. We know the visitor centre is around here somewhere, we just don't know where. That would be a good place to start for more information on what I can and can't do here. I was checking the map earlier, just to make sure this is the River Dee. I spotted that there's a couple of small tributaries coming into it from up on the hill over here. And I thought, well, hang on, what if I found one of those and followed it up a bit? I'd get the water that I need, potentially find a campsite. I'm at one of those now. I believe that's what I can see coming down the hillside here. It looks wet from here, it's just like a black streak. There's trees over there to give me some shelter. It could be a level area, or level enough area. I think it's worth going and having a look at. It got me back away from the road a little bit, but it's still a hard standing road, obviously a logging road coming into it. So I'm going to have a little look, see what I can see.
just realised it. Trying to pay attention to where the sun is, because if it shines on the camera I know it looks a little bit odd. I've got 4.8 miles left to go on the track that I've worked out. There's actually a public convenience over there. Yeah, it's called Otter Pool, just over there. That's widening of the bank, and it's quite level. We've stopped there before. That's the place that I was aiming for. It's just under halfway. Look at this. Oh, this track I'm on splits in two. Oh, it goes that way. That way. It's going to be promising. So if it gets me a water source away from the road and somewhere to camp, I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's only 1:05 in the afternoon. I had originally planned to be dropped off at this time, walk for a couple of hours and then find somewhere to camp and not be quite so far down the road and then have the whole of tomorrow to walk. To be honest, I'm starting to feel a twinge in my right hip. I sound like an old man. Oh, no, it doesn't actually fully split in two, it does come around this way a bit. It's like it's unmaintained back that way. And it's unmaintained in this direction as well. It's very rough, boggy terrain coming through here. I think this is going to be a problem I'm going to see all along. Yeah, this could be a problem. You see, what I'd really like to do is be able to get up there somewhere, right back out of the way. That little stand of trees up there would be great, but look what's between me and it. Ankle breakers the whole way. Look round here. Ground is just far too uneven. One wrong foot and I'm down like a sack of spuds. Backpacker hammering me into the ground like a nail. I shall keep going. Worst comes to worst, I'll camp down there at that site down there and continue tomorrow, or I'll just push right through and go to the end, where I know there's another campsite. There's probably other campsites in between, but yeah, we did see a few. They were very wet. The water level was up very high at that time as well. We came through in April. One where the dog, I said that the dog had fallen in, disappeared underwater head first. Shouldn't laugh. It was funny to watch though. It's his tail sticking up out of the water. Like, the dog gone! He did give himself a little bit of a shock. He's alright, obviously. It's not the first time he's done it. So, yeah. I'm going to keep walking and go around to that bit round the corner there. And potentially, that's where I'll be for tonight. It's a bit too public. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to be in the middle of nowhere. Okay, Sarah, it's my first time out here. Maybe I'll have a better chance if I use a motorbike. That is the ultimate plan. That's why I was going to go down to Norfolk. There's an importer of electric motorbikes, the Zero motorbike you may have heard of. It comes from California. Very good motorbikes. They've been making electric motorbikes for a while now, so they know what they're doing. Would have been a good choice. Slightly too far out of the bracket of what I can afford. So we said to ourselves, we aren't going to get ourselves into debt again. That means no loans to buy motorbikes or cars. This looks interesting. This could be good. Ooh. Look at this. It looks like a strip along there has been mown. There's a building over there which is probably the convenience. So I'm going to walk in along here. This could be, sorry, this could be the place to camp. In fact, there's a footpath here anyway. Might even be able to get my feet cooled off in the river. Oh, that'd be so nice. I'll walk along here. It's nice than walking on that gravel. Yeah, so I was saying, we made a resolution. We aren't going to buy something on finance again, if we can help it at all. But the winter here was particularly harsh. The last one. There was a lot of salt put on the roads. I was very worried about the motorbike because I'd like to keep that motorbike, funnily enough. I would very much like to keep it, and I don't want it wrecked by riding it all winter. So I said, well, what about a little commuter bike? And that's where the idea of the electric bike came in. And because it costs no tax, no fuel, etc. That'd be a good idea. And it turns out it's just a little bit too expensive. Oh. Okay. I have no idea what these are here for. Surfing. What do you reckon? No? I wonder what these are supposed to be. Bench or just art installation? There's 3 of them. Made out of some sort of extruded plastic or something like that. There's a footpath, there's a bridge, there's everything that says you can go over there and do that. It's even mown. There's a forestry commissioner in here mowing it. I'm obviously walking into the picnic area at Ossett Pool here. Let's see why it's called pool. We'll see in a second. Well, you probably saw it in the other videos, but it's not as in flood at the moment. So here we go. So I'm figuring if there's somewhere to string my hammock. Worst places to stay. Let's check this out properly then. Oh, that's why it's called Ossett Pool. There's not a statue down there. Yeah, of course. I think this is probably going to be about as good as it's going to get. The ground around here is relatively level. It's obviously been logged over there at some point in the last few years. So it's all very rutty, full of lots of stumps and things like that. The road is literally 10 metres that way. 10 metres the other side of that is the river. At this point the road leaves the course of the river and goes into the woods a bit more and then back again. There are more campsites down that way, we know that. But I just wanted to get away from the road. It is actually one of the requirements for wild camping in Scotland anyway, to be back from the road. So this is about as close as I can get to being away from it because of the terrain. As I say, I'm evidently not the first person to choose this as a campsite. The end of this log here is charred. There's an old campfire spot just here, but it obviously hasn't been used for quite some time, so nobody's used it recently, but it has been used at some point. But I'm not finding anywhere else, really. I don't think I've got very much choice. But it's still quite idyllic, still quite nice. So what I'll do, I maybe won't set up the camp just yet, simply because one of the things I want to do is walk away from it, and it'll be right next to the road. So if people were to spot it, it'd be quite obvious. But I'm probably going to string my hammock and tarp between that tree there and this one here, leaving as much of the level area in front of me as I can for a fire and for general stuff. So yeah, next thing I've got to do is just get myself set up. But I can do a quick video and show you what I have with me, what I've brought, what I've chosen to bring with me. I'll sort that out in a second as well. First thing I'm going to do though, maybe actually, is get a fire going, because I'm now crawling with insects. And first things first, I'm going to get some smidge.